Today, let us know about the types of listening and barriers to listening. That is the topic I am going to deal with today. I hope this will be useful for the slow learners in particular. So, I am dealing very briefly about the different types of listening and the different types of listeners, you can say. Listening is the process, and the person who involves in listening is called the listener. So let us see what are the types of listening or what are the types of listeners, and then we will move on to what are the barriers to listening. Already earlier we have dealt with as to what is listening, what is the process of listening, what is the importance of listening, and even the tips or strategies required to develop effective or good listening skills. So now we are going to deal with the types of listening and what are barriers to listening. So let us see what are the types of listening. So we know from the slide itself, you can see the basic types of listening, not the complete types of listeners or types of listening, but in brief, because it is for slow learners, you have to understand at least there are five main types of listening. Five main types of listening or listeners which you should know as to how the listening is carried out in these particular types of listeners also. So let us see, the first one is active listening. Active listening is done by active listeners, you can say. Content listening is done by content listeners, you can say. Critical listening is done by critical listeners. And then empathetic listening is done by empathetic listeners. Appreciative listening is done by appreciative listeners. So let us know what is active listening. So that is the types of listening in detail. Active listening. What is active listening? An active listener engages in active listening with the speaker. He involves actively, he tries to be with the speaker and he tries to be very active, very analytic when he is listening. Yes, he is very active in listening. He is very concentrated. He is very focused. He knows he has a purpose to listen. So he is completely involved in the process of listening, we can see. An active listener engages in active listening with the speaker, while you can distinguish a passive speaker, passive listener. Passive listener, who is a passive listener? Passive listener doesn't engage in the listening process. He only acts, but he doesn't engage in the listening process at all. Active listening consists of both verbal and non-verbal cues, nodding, eye contact, etc. He involves in all those non-verbal cues also. So active listener is the one who engages concentratively into the listening process. That is active listening. The second type is content listening. What is content listening? It is also known as informative listening. Informative listening, also known as informative listening. Content listening is also known as informative listening. The speaker, what does he do? The speaker tries to comprehend and retain information communicated by the speaker. So content, he listens for the sake of content, he listens for the sake of the theme, and the speaker tries to comprehend, to summarize, to try to keep it in his mind and retain this information. He stores this information which is communicated by the speaker. So content listening involves the content listener to comprehend, to retain information communicated by the speaker. So he too is involved in listening process. Critical listening. The third one is critical listening. What is critical listening? Critical listening involves absorbing the message first and then analyzing the ideas for evaluating the speaker's intention, credibility, logic of argument, his different things about the speaker, etc. So critical listening is done for the sake not only for absorbing the message, not only for taking in the message, not only for receiving the message first. He analyzes the ideas and tries to evaluate these ideas with what the speaker intends to, what the speaker wants to convey, what is his intention. Is the information credible? Is the information authentic? Is the information real? He is comparative also. Even he tries to involve in and into this listening process with a sense of logic. So even he tries to think whether there is logic in the argument, whether there's logic in the particular theme the speaker is presenting. So critical listening involves absorbing the message first and then analyzing the ideas for evaluating the speaker's intention, credibility, logic of argument, and tries to be critical. So next one is empathetic listening. What is empathetic listening? It is nothing but staying in empathy with the speaker. So the listener here has empathy for the speaker. So empathetic listener always tries to understand the speaker. So empathetic listening involves the listener trying to understanding the speaker's situation and even what he wants to convey, even the message he listens to very empathetically. It is also known as relationship listening, and where the listener tries to understand the speaker's situation and message very empathetically, very much relatively. So he is empathizing with the speaker. The next one is, which is most important, is appreciative listening. We all do appreciative listening when we listen to songs, when we listen to music. So like that, appreciative listening involves the deriving of pleasure. Appreciative listeners always use this listening process for deriving pleasure. It is used for deriving pleasure. And the listener listens to the matter, the content, and he appreciates this matter, this content very much. For example, the speaker's mindset, the speaker's mood, the speaker's tone, the speaker's voice, anything. So this is known as appreciative listening. The appreciative listener always tries to appreciate the speaker because it is used only for deriving pleasure. It is used for deriving entertainment. So the listener listens to the matter or content with appreciation. Then we move on to there are barriers to listening. Then we move on to this particular issue. Why are barriers to listening also important to be known? Because for every listening going on, every type of listener listening to the process, what happens is that always there will be some barrier, some obstacle whenever people try to listen. The distractions can be personal, the distractions can be physiological, can be psychological, can be emotional, can be attitudinal. Even the language might not be understood by the listener. He might not be of the same level to understand. He might not have the same level of vocabulary, same language knowledge. So that is why everything can be a barrier. Barrier means it's an obstacle, it is a hindrance to effective listening. It is a barrier, it is an obstacle, it is a hindrance or threat to good listening. So listening process is affected by such barriers. So we need to know what are the barriers to listening. So basically, experts have identified the following barriers as obstacles in the listening process. You have seen on the slide, first one is physical barriers, next is physiological barriers, The third one is attitudinal or psychological barriers, and fourth one is socio-cultural barriers. So barriers in detail. What are physical barriers? These barriers constitute mild hearing levels, you can say extraneous sounds, mannerisms, moving objects, noise, etc., which are physical in nature. So physical barriers are always physical in nature. It might be noise, it might be mannerisms, it might be any moving objects, any train sounds, any sounds on phone which are heard. So it can be an ecosystem which is there in the room where you are attending a seminar. So they are all physical barriers. Second thing is physiological barriers. Physiological barriers involve body process. So these barriers are physiological, such as hunger. They are all bodily process. If you have hunger, you cannot listen properly. If you have headache, you cannot listen properly. If there is tension in your mind, you cannot listen properly. If there is discomfort when you are sitting or when you are standing, then you cannot listen properly to the speaker. Anywhere when there is health upset, there is stomach ache or something, you cannot listen to the particular message properly. So physiological barriers, bodily processes which act against the listening process are called physiological barriers. These barriers are all physiological, bodily, such as hunger, headache, tension, discomfort, which prohibit proper listening. We cannot listen properly. The third one is attitudinal or psychological barriers. Attitudinal barriers based on attitude, you can say psychological barriers are all mentally created, they are emotionally created. So these barriers are based on attitude and emotions. Like you can have a difference in gender, you have a difference in opinions regarding gender, male or female. You have differences in status, like they are rich, they are poor, like that. Then also listening process is not taking place because you have certain prejudices, certain attitudinal differences when you think about a person's status, when you are listening to the content of a message or when you are listening to certain information. Then if there is the age of the speaker is completely different than yours, or you can say that the age of the speaker is completely different to that of yours, like he is more old in age or he is younger to you in age, then probably you might have an ego problem, ego issues regarding listening to the message. Even the differences in race, voice, style of dressing, all these affect. These are all attitudinal or psychological barriers which affect the listening process, which affect the listener to listen because of certain prejudices, certain things in his emotions, or certain things affecting his attitude, certain things affecting his mindset. Lastly, we go to fourth one is socio-cultural barriers. So socio-cultural barriers also are known as semantic barriers also, because they involve the differences in social and cultural contexts in the use of language. So different ways of using a same gesture or the same kind of word can vary from one culture to another. So here also in language there can be differences, and there can be different choice of words. Even in, for example, in a state like AP, or in a state like Telangana, or in a state of Bihar, there can be differences in the choice of words. There can be different dialects. For example, in Andhra you have the Rayalaseema dialect, you have the Costa Andhra dialect, you have the Rayalaseema dialect. So there are different dialects also, and there are different types of accent. Even, for example, we have in Andhra Pradesh there's a accent belonging to a specific district, like east or west Godavari, there's an accent of Srikakulam. So there are different ways of speaking, there are different accents being followed in the same language, by which people might fail to understand, might fail to understand or comprehend the information, because listening process is not taking place when there are differences in accent which is not understandable, when there are differences in dialects or choice of words. Then automatically the socio-cultural context impose such sort of barriers, and the speaker should be careful in using in thinking about the sociocultural barriers in action. So listener also can feel that there is a kind